The UN Refugee Agency is working with the Stellar Development Foundation to send USDC stablecoins across the Stellar blockchain to those impacted by the Ukrainian war. Now, this is pretty cool. This is a cool little thing. It's a pilot. It's a bit of good news in an otherwise dour media environment. It's even a bit of a marketing push from Stellar, which took out a big old print ad in the New York Times touting this advancement. Interesting to see this stuff. We talk about some of the cross-border applications of what blockchains can provide, right? These are payment rails that can reach people in ways that other systems can't, especially in times of conflict. And it would be cool to see if this pilot ultimately continued on in some meaningful fashion. That's my particular view on this. I will toss it to Jen for her thoughts on this UN Stellar USDC tie-up.
I think this is a wonderful news, Zach. I'm so happy you brought this story amongst all of this other drama that we talk about every day here on the show. I think that this is a great way to test USDC for remittances, right? This is a conversation that we've been having all year, really amplified by the World Economic Forum. And if this works, I think we have a great test case to see the steps that need to be taken to get there. So in this scenario, users need to download the Vibrant wallet. They then get their USDC, and then that USDC can be converted to US dollars or euros at MoneyGrams across the world. I think that that is really cool, an awesome disruptor for remittances, and I am excited to see how it works. Also, what an awesome way to get money to people in parts of the world that we can't reach via traditional rails. So I am very bullish on this story. Will?
Okay, I don't know if a full 2-minute segment can give justice for the story, because I have a more nuanced opinion than just necessarily liking it. I think that there's good aspects about the story. We want to help people in regions of the world that cannot get access to aid. But on the other side of the story, there is a lot of questions about Stellar in particular and how they always seem to end up on the marketing end of things. If you go back a few years, Danielle Dixon, who is the chairperson for Stellar Foundation, was somehow able to make it to Congress and speak on behalf of Stellar, and she attacked a lot of other crypto coins out there. And that did not do her a lot of favors in the crypto industry and the people, how she was viewed for her comments there. And on behalf, she's also, shilling Stellar, which has an interesting history as well. Like, it's more or less like a fork of the Ripple blockchain, or XRP, I should say. So there's questions around that. And so it's like its placement in the crypto hierarchy is definitely a little interesting. That being said, it is cool to see a foundation pushing this initiative. And I do think that's the only way a lot of these things are going to happen, right? Because you might think like Bitcoin or Ethereum might be a good alternative, but the case is they're decentralized, right? So who's the one going to be able to push this? You need a foundation that actually has money and initiative to be able to do this. So sometimes marketing does do the good work on behalf of other people. So I have a nuanced take on it, not just good or bad, a little bit in between. Adam, I'll throw it up to you.
Yeah, I think that the interesting part about all of this, of course, is the diversity in kind of the cryptocurrency ecosystem, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's been attacking different payments, like different payment use cases, stuff like that. It turns out it's actually harder to do that in real life than it is to just do it in a white paper. A lot of that has to do with the relationships that you have to then build to make it such that, because the transmission is one part, right? Like, being able to send something from someone to someone else, irrespective of where they are, that's one part. The other part, though, is being able to then convert it into a local currency where it can actually be useful. And it seems like the ecosystem that Stellar has put together here, at least in this particular circumstance, is doing that. This has kind of been Stellar's like reason for being since the very early days, back when Jed, who is also a founder of the Ripple and Ripple Labs and the XRP protocol, which was something that was out years before kind of Ethereum came out. It was one of the very, very early projects, one of the early differentiated projects that didn't get a lot of respect from cryptocurrency folks at the time, but has proven to be resilient, at least tackling this kind of more mainstream type use case. Stellar here, I think, is racking up a win. It's interesting to see it happen, and it's interesting to see the partnerships that they had to build it to get it done. And, I think that it's worth a pat on the back for them for making that happen, because a lot of people have tried and it's been harder than people have expected. Zach, what do you think?
I just want to make fun of Will and say that he was the question ask score, and then I want to like make a meme where it's like just asking questions. What about?
We got to stop explaining memes on this show. We got to stop it.
That's really all I want. That's
now.
really all I want to add. I mean, but to your point, right? Like the UN Refugee Agency, like needs an entity through which it can do this thing, and maybe that is the function of foundations that can provide access to these partners to otherwise permissionless networks. But anyway, just a thought. Jen, tossing it to you.
Yeah, before I take us into probably the best story of the day, I just want to compare this to what happened in El Salvador. Remember when they introduced the Shivo wallet there, they thought, this is going to be a real disruptor to remittances. This is really going to help get money in and out of the country. And then the people who were actually using it had so many issues with the wallet. There wasn't a lot of conversion. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. Hopefully this can be different.